What is going on, guys? It's Rob from Heroes Avenue, and of course, we have an update to the James Gunn situation. In my previous video, I talked about the big announcement from Gunn and Henry Cavill himself that he will no longer be playing Superman, and of course, that sparked an immense amount of drama online for and a lot of it is warranted in a lot of regards, but of course, we were going to have to speak on this again in this update video in which we have Zachary Levi and even The Rock finally opening up about the situation. But first, let's give you guys, if you're not aware of it, James Gunn's latest post. Actually, he's posted after this. He's responded after this, but this is the post that really, it kind of took it to another level because of what some fans interpret as a shot at them. So here's what he says. One of the things Peter and I were aware of when we took the job as heads of DC Studios was a certain minority of people online that could be, well, uproarious and unkind to say the least. Now, to me, I mentioned this in our tweets, is that is not controversial at all. Yes, of course, you were going to get that minority of people, a lot of them being people, of course, of the old universe, of which I am a huge fan of the Zack Snyder universe. But of course, there is a minority within that group of people that are uproarious and unkind. And that's just the nature of Twitter, to be honest. Like, if you're on Twitter, compared, if you look at James Gunn's Instagram, it's all love. Obviously, people are following him, they love him. But it's mostly love on Instagram. But when you go onto Twitter, it's just a different beast. It's all kinds of hate, and that's just the nature of Twitter. And if you can't handle it, then better that he doesn't tweet. But for me, I'm happy that he's actually tweeting because, at least we get some transparency, even though he's kind of talking, not in riddles, but he's picking and choosing his words very clearly, as we'll talk about in a second. But here he says, our choices for the DCU are based on what we believe is the best for the story and best for the DC characters who've been around for nearly 85 years. Perhaps these choices are great, perhaps not, but they are made with sincere hearts and integrity, and always with a story in mind. Now, I don't doubt that he is sincere in wanting DC to succeed. Of course, he's going to have a different vision than any other person, and especially his creative choices are very much probably going to be different than what Zack Snyder had. So, of course, you're going to have Zack Snyder fans just basically bringing up, all sorts of things to just kind of tarnish his image. James Gunn's already been through that. He wasn't, the way I see it is, look, if you've never done anything, none of us have probably thrown pedophile themed parties, but, he's addressed the issue and he's spoken on it numerous times, and he's never been convicted for anything, besides having he's been accused of and did have, a very twisted and, disturbing sense of humor back then, and he knows he's wrong. He's addressed it, and he's paid for it in terms of getting fired from Marvel, but ultimately turned out to work the best in his on his side of things, now having this DC gig. So but yeah, I do think he's sincere, and if you've been following him, he is a fan of these characters, so I don't doubt that. Anyways, he says, no one loves to be harassed or called names, but to be frank, we've been through significantly worse. Disrespectful outcry will never ever affect our actions, which it shouldn't. He says, we are aware there would be a period of turbulence when we took this gig, and we knew there would be we'd sometimes have to make difficult and not so obvious choices, especially in the wake of fractious nature of what came before us. But this means little to us in comparison to our jobs as artists and custodians in helping to create a wide and wonderful future for DC. Again, if you were to pick up the DC gig, knowing the fandom and the state of the fandom right now, I am not faulting him at all for restarting this universe. It sucks. I would say that from an outside perspective, if someone didn't have a skin in the game, I could honestly say that I would say, dude, reboot the whole thing. The timing just comes at an awkward time when we have 3 movies coming out next year, and now a lot of fans, even though the movies may be excellent, a lot of fans just feel that like they had so much skin in the game, and now all that skin is never going to pay off. All that devotion to the brand is never going to pay off. So I totally get where fans are coming from here. So he goes on to say, I keep seeing posts with this untrue story. And this guy asks, who knows if it's true, but recasting all the main DCEU characters but keeping some will be interesting to see how Peacemaker and Suicide Squad actors live on, but the others don't, particularly when they have all interacted together. He says, I keep seeing posts with this untrue theory. We're not recasting everyone except the Suicide Squad. So phrased very weirdly, and I think done on purpose, where I'm not even sure what to make out with this. I do think that it's all potentially still up in the air, but we'll see with Shazam or Zachary Levi's and The Rock's comments we're going to get to in just a second. So I did think that that was a little weird wording on his part. And I think that's the end of his kind of replying to people. But if we go to some of the things that Zachary Levi said today, so he goes. Someone basically says, "I want this not to be true because his Shazam is one thing in the DCU I would absolutely throw hands for to protect. Zachary Levi is perfection." And then Zachary Levi goes, "Oh, I really wouldn't go believing everything you see on the internet. I'm Gucci, Ash. We all Gucci." And Zachary Levi's gone on to also like and comment on James Gunn's Instagram posts. And so when he says this, it makes you think, does he have a future in this DC universe? Because that would be very strange if you were to fire Henry Cavill, keep Zachary Levi. And then it gets even stranger in a second. All in between that, Ray Fisher comes out and calls out James Gunn for, I'm not even going to drag it in. I think Ray Fisher was kind of in the wrong in this regard, where he calls out James Gunn for potentially deleting a tweet where he apologized to Ray Fisher. And then James Gunn also said that his tweets automatically delete every few months. So on the side of all of this is this drama with Ray Fisher yesterday. So there's so much things going on. But anyways, here's the main thing. The Rock. The Rock finally spoke up. A lot of people were like, dude, Dwayne Johnson kind of looks like a fool right now. A lot of people were talking about that. A lot of people felt bad for him because of all the work and devotion he did to promote his movie. And not to sugarcoat it, this guy was for sure making a play to try to take over DC with Black Adam, bringing back Henry Cavill. That was all a play to try to kind of become the leader. They were both kind of vying for this job that James Gunn now has. That's actually kind of the sentiment and of what fans think and what a lot of the reporting has been. But anyways, he says, "My passionate friends, I wanted to give you a long-awaited Black Adam update regarding the character's future in the new DC universe. James Gunn and I connected, and Black Adam will not be their first chapter of storytelling. However, DC and $7 have agreed to continue exploring the most valuable ways Black Adam can be utilized in the future DC multiverse chapters. James and I have known each other for years and have always rooted for each other to succeed. It's no different now, and I will always root for DC and Marvel to win and win big. You guys know me, and I have very thick skin, and you can always count on me to be direct with my words." He says these decisions by James and DC leadership represent their vision of the DCU through their creative lens. After 15 years of relentless hard work to finally make Black Adam, I'm very proud of the film we delivered for the fans worldwide. I will always look back on the fan reaction to Black Adam with tremendous gratitude, humility, and love. We did great. To my passionate and vocal Black Adam superhero genre fans, I love you. Thank you. And I will always listen to you and do my best to deliver and entertain you. What a hell of a month. Now we all need some Terramana. I'm not sure what that means. I'm sure it's an alcohol, as you can see. Have a productive week and happy holidays to you and your families. So Dwayne Johnson. So very classy words, just like Henry Cavill's response is very classy. And James Gunn says, "Love The Rock. I'm always excited to see what he and $7 do next. Can't wait to collaborate soon." So the problem is it leaves the door open for a potential. I think James Gunn is doing the thing where it's like, hey, look, maybe we'll work together in the future. And of course, you're going to do that to kind of ease the pill. It makes the pill easier to swallow, knowing that you're fired from this universe. And you most likely will never play this character again. He said that same thing about, Henry Cavill, about potentially working in the future. Ben Affleck potentially directing. I would be very surprised if that turns out to be true. Any three of these things. If Affleck or Ben Affleck comes back to direct a DC movie, if Dwayne Johnson, Henry Cavill end up working together, there's precedent in terms of people suggesting Jason Momoa will come back as Lobo. I do think that's probably going to happen, given his reaction to everything. And I think it's going to be weird. I don't know. I would rather, and I said this before, I would rather, if he's going to do this, restart this whole damn universe. It's going to be a hard pill to swallow either way. But if you recast everybody, including your wife and Peacemaker, just redo everything, I think it'll go a long way for fans and people who are upset about this whole situation. But this string of let's maybe collaborate in the future, and it just kind of, it leaves you hanging a little bit, I wasn't a fan of Black Adam, but I am a big fan of Dwayne Johnson and his work ethic and just how hard he puts himself out there, how much he puts himself out there for the fans. And in a lot of ways, he is very narcissistic and likes to put himself at the center of everything. So in that regard, I'm glad he's not at the helm of the DC universe. But also, that if he did get the job, Superman would be back and everything. So I don't see an easy situation for James Gunn. I feel bad because, no matter what he does, he's going to get heckled for all his, past, controversies, obviously. I don't fault people for that, for their having strong opinions about him. And I don't fault anyone for having strong opinions about his movies, and his sense of humor. It is crude, especially, Peacemaker. The more I think about it, the more I'm not a fan of the show. I mean, I was entertained enough, but I hope he does something different I hope he takes this, the DC universe, and adapts the characters in a way that made me feel like these guys are gods, like these guys, are the top tier superheroes out there, like I feel like they are. But yeah, so it's kind of it's strange that that he keeps talking about working with people in the future. So again, that may give people hope for maybe down the line you get these characters, Gal Gadot come back. Maybe you get Shazam to come back, if he's not already going to continue in the role. Maybe you get these guys back in some colossal multiversal event later down the line. Maybe, just maybe, but I'm not going to keep up hope for that, to be honest. Like, I'm tired of hoping for these characters to get their due, to have a completed story for their arcs. I don't think that's going to happen anymore, and it sucks. But I'm no longer thinking that's going to happen because James Gunn's been somewhat transparent, and I do like it. Some people are upset, and for example, here, some people think him being on Twitter is going to make him stumble and make this universe stumble. I don't think so. I am glad he's on here communicating because it beats the alternative where we were in the dark for years and years and years, and just fan speculation just happened to be right about Zack Snyder having a longer cut of his movie and wanting to do it, how he got fired and everything. Fan speculation worked there. Fans right now, it's very divisive, and I'm tired of all this negativity, man. So I'm in the camp of I'm going to just see what comes out and judge it for what it is, because that's the only thing we can really do right now. I was for the Snyder Cut, of course, fought for it. And, at this moment, James Gunn is at the helm. And, whether you like it or not, you can, be online and just chastise him as much as you want online, but it ain't going to do much except fuel a lot more anger in your life. So that's my opinion on the whole situation. I do want to, let me see if I have it. Oh, I'm using my phone as the camera right now. But I will do a video addressing your guys' comments soon. I know we've been getting a lot of comments. We got some new subscribers. Thank you guys. And I haven't addressed the comments in a while, so I have been reading them. Just been a lot busy in my personal life, guys. And I'll give you guys an update on that whole situation and what I've been doing on the side. Maybe Darren will too. I know you haven't seen Darren on the channel in a while. But we'll give you an update hopefully soon. But I will do for sure address your guys' comments, read them out, and kind of respond to them in the next video. So please let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video. See you guys later. Peace.